Welcome to the Commissioned Life, where faith meets everyday life. We're a husband and wife who believe that living the Great Commission starts right where you are. In your marriage, your work, and your community, every moment is a chance to live on mission. This is the Commissioned Life podcast. Let's step into the mission together.
Welcome back to the Commission Life podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Mike again.
And we are here talking about how to live out the Great Commission in everyday life. Today, we're going to talk about faith in the fire, which I'm super. I'm really stoked about this one. I know I said I was really stoked about the spiritual warfare one, which is still probably one of my favorite things to talk about. But faith in the fire, I think, is so important to talk about because it's so easy to be thankful and worship in the good times. But when you go through the fire, it's like, oh, shoot, still need to be thankful then because there's still things to be thankful for then.
Yep. Even in the storms.
Even in the storms. Yeah. Because God says in his word that we won't live a life of ease with no problems. He actually says you're going to go through life of trial and tribulation. However, he will be alongside us in the fire with us. So that's comforting in a way.
As long as you think about it.
As long as
when the fire's happening.
Yes, exactly that.
All right. You want to read Daniel 3?
Sure.
Verses 17 and 18?
Yep. So we're going to be focusing today, Daniel 3, verses 17 and 18. And it says, if we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up.
We ain't doing it.
No. I think we should provide some context here.
On what, the idols?
No, and like what's happening in this
don't
verse.
Do that.
No, don't do that, obviously. But like what's happening in this verse, like, because it's just, in here, it's just somebody talking to somebody.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go.
So in the story of Daniel, there are these three individuals, and I'm going to butcher their names, but I'm going to try super duper hard. Shadrach, Meshach, what is it? Meshach, and this one. Abednego. See, you should be giving the context here. And in this time, the king... I
just like to hear you say it.
Because you're mean. King Nebuchadnezzar is ordering all of these people of this land to bow down to these idols. And these individuals are basically saying, like, no, absolutely not. And when we read here in this verse, they are telling the king, as you hear them refer to him as your majesty, they're telling him, no matter what, we will not bow down to these idols. Even like our God will deliver us from this. But no matter what, we will not serve your gods, period. End of story.
And then what does he do? Throws them in the fire.
But
God.
Yeah.
And that's when you find out there's a fourth guy in the fire, and they know who it is. But when the guards that look in there, if I'm not mistaken, the guards look in there and they're like, pretty sure
we only put 3 people in there.
Yeah. Hey, Billy, was it 3? Yeah. It was only 3. Okay, who's the fourth guy?
Yeah.
And they come out unscathed.
Yep. Yeah. So that's like a very like quick, down and dirty, broken down version of this story. But that's
the Bible.
The kind of, not really.
God wins.
God wins every time. Yes, yeah. That's absolutely true. But that's kind of like this broken down version of it. So we're going to talk about what it means to keep our faith strong when we are in the fire. Because in this story, these individuals, their faith stayed strong. And when they were literally being thrown into a fire, not just like a trial or tribulation that felt like fire, they were literally being thrown into the fire and their faith held strong.
Yeah. And you see it through a whole bunch of other stories in the Bible also, where they're on the boat and there's the big storm and Jesus is on the boat. He's just sleeping, hanging out, and they're all like, "Oh God, it's so crazy out here. Jesus, wake up!" And he's like, "Come on, guys,
I'm
just
taking
chill.
a nap.
Yeah, I'm just trying to take a nap here. Come on." And he's like, "Listen, why do you not have any faith?" Gets up and just is like, all right, I got this." Just another example.
Mm-hmm.
Where you want to go?
Our faith in the fire.
There's lots of them actually.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, starting with Isaiah. Well, before Isaiah,
The miscarriage.
the miscarriage. Yeah, that was interesting. I had no idea what to do. It was my first kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of this episode is going to be a good chunk of our marriage testimony because there have been lots of time where we have been in the fire and we only had God to lean on. The story that Mike is referencing is we were pregnant in April of 2019. We were very excited. We told our we told our very close friends and told a couple family members, only to shortly thereafter miscarry that baby. And the really cool part of that story, one of the many reasons why I have a soft spot for Fight Club.
We don't talk about Fight Club.
We're not going to talk about Fight Club, just my soft spot for it. One of the many reasons why I have a soft spot for Fight Club is because during that season, at that point, Mike he was kind of testing like the God waters, really. Like he wasn't saved at that point. He was baptized at the end of Fight Club. This was like week 3 of Fight Club
Probably.
That we got the news that I was miscarrying.
Mind you, this is 3 weeks after we got back from Mexico.
Yeah. And we weren't even married for 2 years yet at this point. And we got married in 2017. I deployed in 18, and then I was pregnant in, like I said, April of 19.
Yeah.
So it was a very
Right after Mexico.
Listen. We're not going there.
Sorry for any family that's listening. But we were already married.
We were. But we found out we were pregnant in April of 19, and then a few short weeks later found out that I was miscarrying that baby. And Fight Club, God so positioned that material that Mike was studying and during that time, so perfectly positioned for that season. And God so beautifully equipped Mike during that season to be able to walk us through that season. And it's always like so bizarre to talk about the couple pieces of our testimony that were harder, because I feel like that was one of the ones that even like brought us that much closer.
Which was weird because, again, I had no idea what was going on other than you were going through a change. Mm-hmm. That was about it.
Well, and it was different for both of us. Like I was miscarrying physically while you were miscarrying emotionally. So it was just like I was
miscarrying a lot of things emotionally.
Yes, that's
I
true.
didn't know what was going on. Mm-hmm. It was just a lost time for me because you're like, oh, I'm going through this change and, miscarry the baby and body and hormones. And I'm just like, I'm going to go to work because I don't know what to do. and then God's like, no, just send her this verse. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I just do it. Mm-hmm. And then I do it again and do it again. You're like, oh, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And I'm like, cool. Yeah. Go God. I didn't know.
Yeah. But it was so perfect. So perfectly timed. And so I was confirmed no longer pregnant. It was like May 2nd or 3rd. And then it was like May 30th. I had,
wow.
Stop it. I had another positive pregnancy test, which was wild. So, and then that's our middle kiddo, Isaiah, our now almost 6-year-old.
Yep. The other man of the house. The only other man of the house.
The only other man of the house, yeah. But having faith in that season, knowing that God would get us through it, it actually brought us closer together. And we've heard at least I've heard stories, because I'm fairly open about that part of our testimony. And God has used that part of our story to connect me to a lot of other women who have struggled with miscarrying, and to hear how it's a very different, like I said, I was miscarrying physically and emotionally, but it's so different for you in that like you don't have that physical aspect. Whereas like when like the stick turns pink or whatever that saying is, like from that moment, like there's a baby, and we have that experience as, you know, the women, as the people that God utilizes to grow the baby. We have that experience where yours is so different.
I'm just here to get to the ice cream.
Exactly that.
Ice cream, chicken wings,
Chicken finger sub.
chicken finger sub.
But that, like,
And I gained 20 pounds also.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome. But your experience is so different that when it comes to miscarrying, the man's difference from the wife, it can cause a separation. Satan can use that as a means to cause a separation in your marriage rather than bringing it together. But when you invite God into the fire with you and allow him, because he always wants to come with you, but you have to invite him in. And when he comes in, it is just like a total game changer.
Yep. And you said that we knew that he would get it through us by trusting. I actually had no idea. But hindsight's 20/20. Now you look back. Once you know what you're looking for, maybe you don't even really know what you're looking for, but you have an idea of what you're looking for. You kind of look back on things and you're like, oh yeah, okay, he played right there.
Mm-hmm.
He moved me here, he moved me there, or I ran into this person or ran into that person for a reason that I didn't know at the time, but I see it.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. So when we have like these moments where it just like feels like so hot, but like we see, like Mike said, he can see now looking back how his faith grew and developed in that season.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so much so that I got baptized at the end of it.
You did, yes.
We won't tell you what happened during Fight Club other than that.
Oh my gosh.
What?
What? So yeah, so back to our story in the fiery furnace with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. That first one.
Keep saying it.
That first one, I don't know if I'm saying that first guy right.
Yeah. So, but that's not where it ends. We're 2 weeks shy of 8 years. I'm gonna pause right here actually and say we're in a new spot. It's under development because
I'm not happy about it.
I know Mike's not really happy about
No.
this. We're in the basement and we're gonna be prettying all this up to make it somewhat presentable.
Mm-hmm.
To continue with this, to make it, flowery and, hey, we're good at this.
Aesthetically
Yeah. Oh, we're good at this. We've done this before.
It's funny.
Yep. But our marriage story didn't stop. So I had a business going at the time. I was a plumber, and
You still are.
I still am a plumber. Yeah. This is 19 years as a plumber. 11 years as a master now.
You're old.
Yeah. 11 years as a master, and I had my own business for 7-8 years, and you stopped working, and I was scared, but it worked. God just literally provided the entire time without asking. We didn't ask. I didn't ask. He was just like, I'm gonna sit right here. I'm gonna keep giving you, keep going. And
I stopped working when I was pregnant with Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
So I could go to school full time for my social work degree.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So he kept going with that, and that was the other time I did some podcast stuff, because that's when I got my magazine deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Your magazine deal.
I was on the front cover of a magazine.
It
was
wasn't
pretty
a
awesome.
deal.
It was. I got a sponsorship with Rigid in Milwaukee at the time. Remember they sent Isaiah all that stuff, and so did Rigid actually.
That's
so
fair.
that was really cool. Right after he was born.
That's true.
That's
I
when
forgot about that.
Yeah, that's when we started the tool bag for him. And Isaiah, you got a tool bag coming when you're older, buddy.
You just ruined the surprise.
He's not going to listen to this.
All right.
He's asleep right now.
Hopefully.
No, he is. I checked.
Okay. You can stay focused.
Focus. All right.
Faith in the fire.
Faith in the fire. Yeah. So that's where we got to all the way up until 2021. No.
22. 22, because Amelia
Yeah.
was born in July of 21.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of 22.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where do you want to go from here?
I mean, that's the big chunk of our.
That is the big chunk of the fire.
Of our fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot happening in that season. In 22, I was working in private practice. So I was working really wonky hours. We had all 3 kiddos, and Amelia was little. I think I was still nursing too.
Possibly. I do remember that Isaiah and Amelia didn't really sleep.
Yes, they were not sleeping
was
a ton.
constantly up in their bedrooms.
Yes.
Sleeping on the hardwood floor.
Yes, and Riley was really going through it. So there was lots of, we were like in the midst of getting an official diagnosis for her ADHD and and managing therapy and learning good ways to manage her like big emotions. Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest ones. Yeah, that was tough for you. That was probably like the biggest chunk that it was the most tough for you. Well, I don't want to speak for you.
No, you're right. It was. I felt like the little girl that I came into her life when she was a year and a half, literally hated me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I kept you alive while your mom got deployed.
Yeah.
I did a good thing. You probably don't remember all the mac and cheese and hot dogs we had. Yeah, we got married. Meg left not long after that, and I co-parented with Riley's dad, and we did a good job. We kept her alive. She was alive.
She was
when
alive.
You got back, and she was unharmed. Okay.
She was.
Yeah.
It was just such a shift because when she was little, like these two were thick as thieves. Like there were more times than not that Riley would prefer Mike to me. So to have that shift happen for her.
Yeah. I was pissed. I was upset.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's my little bud. Mm-hmm. Now she hates me. Mm-hmm. She ain't even a teenager yet.
Well, it's not that she hated you.
Well,
it felt that way.
That's how it felt.
Yeah. We went through a lot of stuff. We won't go into like her testimony, but we went through a lot of stuff in therapy and kind of dug up some stuff. And, you know, having a kiddo who grew up with divorced parents that were both in the military and we both spent time deploying, there's just a lot of stuff that she needed to work through. And unfortunately, Mike bared the blunt of her
blunt force trauma. Like 2 years of blunt force trauma.
Yeah, it's a whole lot better now, though.
It is a whole lot better
now that we got through therapy and got through it all. But
completely through it. But
yeah, well, now she's entering teen years, so
yeah, so great.
But at least it's so great for both of us. It's so great for both of us, at least.
All the stories from our friends already. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, but anywho, so it was just the 2 littles. They were not sleeping well at all. Riley trying to manage like having a diagnosis and then, okay, what do we do with this diagnosis, and managing her emotions specifically. And then the whole financial burden of our entire household on Mike's shoulders. We had just moved into the house that we're in now, which doubled in size, doubled in mortgage. We had 3 kiddos and he was primarily the only one working. I was working part-time, but mostly my paycheck went towards my overhead for my practice and daycare. And that was really all my paid. Like I was not contributing to the house financially at all because all my money was just going into overhead and daycare. Daycare, yes. Yeah, so that was to paint the picture of where we were at in that season. There was a lot of, I was so nursing with Amelia and we were just like swapping off floors. Like one night he would take one kid and I'd take the other kid and then we'd swap out. And then the next night I took one kid and he took the other. Like it was just like we were missing each other. We were not connecting.
Yep.
I was being very passive is not the word that I want to say. It's not the right word that I'm looking for, but oh no, my notes are gone. There it is. They're back. I thought I turned that off. Passive's not I was not being intentional about pursuing Mike and speaking his no, yeah. Yeah, we were both being very unintentional.
Yeah, we're just focusing on the kids.
We were comfortable too. That was like something you get into this state of comfort where I'm comfortable. He's my husband. Like he's still going to be here once we get out of this fiery season of the children not sleeping. And yeah, we were both just pretty much unintentional to a point where like we have like a sectional couch in our living room and I'd be on one side, he'd be on the other. The TV would be on and we'd both be on our phones. And then an hour in, we'd be like, hey, you ready to go to bed? Okay, let's go to bed. And there were nights, I've told you this before, there were nights where I'm like, oh, please, I'm so tired and touched out. Please don't try to engage in any kind. Sorry for any family who's listening. Please don't try to engage in any kind of sexual activity because I was just so emotionally spent. And then when he would, I would actively have the thought process of like, okay, how many times have I denied him before it gets to a point where it starts to hit his ego? Because that's Mike's love language is physical touch. And not only just
for those
that.
of you who can't see me shaking my head, the answer is yes.
Yes. But not only like in that aspect, like what it would have meant for him even if I would have just taken the opportunity while we were sitting on the couch on our phones, just crawling over to the other side of the couch and cuddling with him. Like that in itself would have been huge.
It's not all just sexual touching.
No,
I'm
it's
good
not.
with just a little handhold or something on the couch, or
or like cuddling it,
or rub, a small rub of the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't require. I'm an easy person.
Yes. Yeah. However, we would go to bed, and he would try and engage in sexual activity, and I'd be like, how many times have I denied him? Can I get away with one more before it hits his ego? I would have that active thought process in my head because I was just like, I know this is his love language, but I just selfishly can't and don't want to put my own stuff aside to fill his love tank in that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then hit the ego, and I felt like with Riley failing, 2 little kids who wouldn't sleep, I didn't even know how to react to any of it. So I'm just getting pissed all the time for a reason. Wasn't a very valid reason, but in my head it was.
Yeah. And there was junk going on at work too.
Yeah. So
like that was piling over.
Yeah. So it was just kind of hitting me from all angles. And then I screwed up a little bit, and there's some text messages going on, and and then I was taking a shower on a Thursday morning. Mm-hmm. Yep, because it was
the day after men's group.
Yep, and I had already known at one point where I'm like, I'm too deep into this. I gotta get out of here. I gotta talk to one of my pastors, one of the guys that I really trusted, and that night we just missed each other, or I was too chicken. I don't really know.
You told me you chickened out.
It was one of the two. It makes me feel better to know that maybe I just missed him. Anyways, and then it was that very next morning where you had grabbed my phone and looked at it, and it was like 2 friendly text messages.
Yeah. I was feeling like pulled to, now I know. In that moment, I was just like, I'm going to go through his phone and I'm not going to find anything. And then I'm going to have to like tell him like, I don't know why I went through your phone. And then I did find something and I was like, oh my gosh. And then, having the conversation and finding out how much more it was that was a punch to the stomach where I was like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? But it was like God's sovereignty that stepped in, because Mike had said the night before, he's like, oh, I'm going to go early because I'm going to go talk. You were going to talk to Rich. Like, I'm going to talk. Rich said he wanted to talk to me about something. I was like, okay. whatever. He goes, well, I don't know. I'm going to go early. I don't know if Rich is going to be there early or if he's going to stay late, but I'm going to talk to him. And then he came home and he went early and he stayed late. And I was like, hey, what did Rich want? He's like, I don't know. We missed each other. And I was like, that's weird. Okay, whatever. Come to find out, Mike was just, I tried to talk to him, but like, I couldn't, which I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, as a guy,
mm-hmm.
and you can ask any guy this, does your pride get in the way? The answer is always yes.
Well, I think girls
It's most of the time the answer is yes.
Yeah, I think girls get like that too. Our pride just shows up in different ways.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But yeah, just having that, like I say often when this conversation comes up, it's not like this isn't part of our testimony that I openly talk about on Facebook, like our miscarriage. But when the conversation comes up, I consistently recount that God's sovereignty stepped in there because Mike, God prompted him to go and talk to someone that could help him through that. And he had told me he wanted to ask Rich about like how to talk to you and what to say and things like that. And then I just like, I couldn't get to the conversation because pride got in the way, but God's sovereignty stepped in and helped Mike. And in the moment, it was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do with this information. One of Mike's oldest friends, Colin, he had told me when I first met Colin.
C double.
C double. When I first met Colin, one of the very first things I remember him telling me about you is that, you know, Mike's a little rough around the edges, which he can be.
No.
Not so much anymore, but you were. Not so much. Still some, not so much. Mike's a little rough around the edges, but he's a golden retriever. He's loyal through and through. And I, like, almost to a fault, I remembered that because when I would have those conversations with myself of, oh, well, can I deny him one more time before it hits his ego? Those conversations, I always had that in the back of my head. Well, Colin's known him since elementary school, right?
Yeah, we're probably 8 years old.
Yeah, so first-ish grade, you've known each other. I was like, okay, so if Colin's known him since he was a little kiddo, and he can tell me that Mike is loyal through and through, I can push this back because Mike is loyal through and through. And then I got to a point where we were just not, I oftentimes talk about as a fence. We weren't monitoring our fence line, and the enemy found a hole that we were neglecting, which was our marriage. And dude snuck right in, and there was so much that Mike felt like he was solely responsible for and solely failing at that Satan dropped this little piece of non-responsibility that felt easy and there was no heaviness to it in the moment.
Yep.
And recognizing, so that's another place that I feel like God's sovereignty stepped in is like in the moment, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with this. I canceled all of my appointments for that day and I called one of our good friends. I was very selective about, we were very selective of who we allowed to speak into this while we were in this season. Now we more openly talk about it. But in that season, it was so important who we were allowing to speak into it. Because we have a lot of people who love us, but we have some people who aren't saved that love us, that would speak into us as individuals and not as us as a married couple. That would be well-intentioned, like I said, that love us both, but don't understand that just because the Bible gives that space for infidelity to give pass on allowing for the option for divorce doesn't mean that just because infidelity has entered the marriage means that it has to end the marriage. And speaking to people who were saved was a priority for us to make sure that we had people speaking into our marriage and not speaking into Mike or Megan as individuals. So I called my friend Stacy and she came and we cried together and we talked together. And in that conversation with Stacy, I just remember God shifting something for me and being like, hey, no, you didn't deserve this. However, you helped neglect this hole. There was this hole in this fence and you willingly neglected this hole. I was aware of what I was doing. I shared that thought process already. I was aware of what my part was in this. Just because Mike's part felt more hurtful didn't mean that I didn't play a part here too. And that was when God flipped. And I feel like he just so quick washed mercy over the situation for both of us that I moved much quicker through that season than even you did, which is always so weird to say.
Yeah, I was very
Yeah.
shocked. Like, why? Why would you be okay with this?
It wasn't that I was okay with it
Well,
as
I
much
know,
as
I
I
know.
understood both parts of it. But that was the additional layer of, I'll never forget, like, it was probably like 2 or 3 weeks later and you were still kind of beating yourself up about it. And
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah.
At least a month.
yeah, and I said to you, like, I have forgiven you and God has forgiven you. Like, you need to forgive you.
Yeah, it took a while. It took a long while. But
But your men's group was huge
yeah,
for that.
yeah, I was gonna say we were selective, like you said, and Stacy's husband Jeff is the guy that I entrusted, and we had some good conversation. One of the guys in my men's group, I continued to go. Probably, I took 2 weeks off, maybe.
I don't think you took any time off for men's group.
I know I at least took that
That
next
the
one
next
off.
week, yeah.
Anyways, that day, I immediately called Pastor Rich, who was just phenomenal, and I was like, "Hey, I need to meet you at lunch," and he's like, "Cool, sounds good. Come to my office." So I did, and we talked for a little bit, and that was super great for us to do that. Yeah, and then Jose. Nobody really knew what was going on. Of course, again, the pride, the shame, the whole nine. I didn't want to say it out loud. It was more like, Jose, yeah, hey buddy, I done screwed up. I'm not gonna go into how or why, but I done screwed up, and somehow, some way, I don't know why she's forgiven me already, but she's in an okay spot, and I'm still not, and I don't know why, and blah blah blah. And just kept going with it. And he's like, bro, first of all, I'm glad you're here. And I'm like, great. Yeah, me too, I guess. And then he goes, she's forgiven you, God's forgiven you. As soon as you sin, God, forgave you. As long as you are like actively still doing this, like, and not saying, oh, God, forgive me, and I'm going to go do it again. God, forgive me, and then go do it again. He's like, he's forgiven you.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Jesus die on the cross? And I'm like, well, to forgive sins. And he's like, uh-huh. And so what are you saying? He died for nothing? And I was like, All right, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it helped. It didn't stop the feelings. It didn't stop me from beating myself up. It helped.
Mm-hmm.
It started the process of me not beating myself up anymore.
Mm-hmm. I almost felt like you said something to me once, and I can't remember exactly what it was you said, but in my head I interpret it as, because I forgave you, like you had to continue to endure punishment that you felt was necessary. It wasn't necessary that I felt it or God wanted you to experience it. You felt in order to be forgiven, you had to experience some level of like pain and punishment. And then you would earn that forgittenness.
Yeah, well, I grew up Catholic, so that's how we did things.
Yeah, recovering Catholics over here.
So I had to tell the priest what I did,
Mm-hmm.
and then say a whole bunch of prayers. I never did that.
You never said the prayers.
Well, I mean, I said prayers, not the prayers the priest told me to say this time.
You did this time.
Yeah.
I thought you meant. Okay,
No.
never mind.
No.
I thought you meant when you were younger and you repented. You were just like, psh, I ain't saying that. Which I could see rebellious Mike doing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. And my favorite part of this part of our testimony, which is always, again, so weird and so countercultural, is that, I mean, the one thing that I remember the most in that season is how tangible God was with us. One of the things that we talked about, I think during the spiritual warfare episode, we talked about like setting the atmosphere and how we read together every night. You did, because you were talking about setting the atmosphere, and we talked about like reading together.
If we didn't, we read together every night.
Yes. And we read together every night post infidelity season, because we were kind of doing our own thing, but we never really like came together and welcomed God into our marriage actively. He was always like a passive participant that we were like, yeah, God's with us. But we never actively invited him into our marriage until that season. So it brought us as a married couple closer to God. And then in return, God brought us closer together. And it really reignited a spark. I mean, at least for me, I can say that. But it like reignited a spark in our marriage. And now being aware, this is a hole in our fence that we just need to make sure that we're aware of. So checking in fairly often about like pulse check. Where are we? Are we doing okay? And just because you can get so lost in the mundaneness of life that it's like, oh shoot, it's been 3 months and I don't even know if Mike is on the same page as me, as like we're kind of going through the motions, but like I'm feeling okay about our marriage. Are you feeling okay about where we're at in our marriage? Is there things that like we could be doing better? One of the things that I heard once,
excuse me, sorry, it's late. Sorry.
One of the things I heard once in one of our marriage things that we did was actively serving our spouses well. Okay, well, how can I serve you well? And things like that. So that was probably one of the biggest things that I can recount from that season, is how tangible God's presence was with us in that season.
Yeah, and we've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And I think I serve you pretty well. I mean, I'm a real pain in the butt sometimes, but
you can't be.
I'm aware.
I'm aware of
I'm
it.
self-aware of being a pain in the butt.
I'm self-aware. I just make no changes or apologies.
I apologize sometimes.
I'm just kidding. I could be a pain in the butt too. But I think too, one of the things.
Blinking.
You're blinking.
Help.
Only Jordan knows what that means. And if he's not watching, he can't see you blinking. So
they heard me whisper help.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold up a sign.
One of the things that also happened in that season, I think, really for both of us, is it refined that faith. For me, know God is sovereign, and I know that his sovereignty is just so good and so perfect. But experiencing his sovereignty in the way of, like I said in the beginning, I feel like it was God's sovereignty who stepped in to place that pull on my heart to go through your phone. Because that's not something I did. And at that point we were together, that we celebrated our 5-year anniversary that year that everything happened, right? I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Cause it was, the theme was iron, which I thought was so fun.
Yeah. I don't remember. Was it just before?
Yeah. Because it was in,
or was it after?
It was before Easter.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember.
Either way.
I don't remember the timing of it. It's probably better off that I don't remember.
So up until that point in our relationship,
she has notes.
I do have notes. Up until that point in our relationship, I had only been through Mike's phone one other time, and it was just before his 30th birthday party, so I could get numbers for his friends that I could invite to his surprise birthday party. Other than that, I have
Then
never.
I thought she was pregnant out.
You did, yeah. That's a whole nother story that we won't get into. But up until that point, I had only gone through it one other time, because that's not something that, like, especially with what Colin had shared. He's a golden retriever. He's loyal. I don't have to go through his phone. We both knew each other's passwords, so it was something that like could happen, but it just didn't happen. So having God step in and prompt me to go through his phone to help Mike, because he knew Mike wanted an out before it got too bad. It had gotten to a point where it was very hurtful, but it hadn't gotten so bad. It was pretty short lived for the most part.
Yeah.
And God, knowing Mike's heart that he wanted out, he gave Mike that out by prompting me to go through his phone to find the things so I would be able to. So just knowing God's sovereignty and experiencing it in an in-your-face way. We experience his sovereignty all the time, but I feel like that was just such an in-your-face way that I was like, wow, refining that faith.
It was a fire.
It was a fire. Fire is.
It was a fire. It was a dumpster fire.
It was. It was. It was.
It was the old back home street
Yeah.
dumpster fire.
Yeah.
That I've witnessed many times as a child.
Yes.
But
I like.
And then there it is.
There it is.
But God doesn't waste the fires.
No.
They're there for a reason. And that's where you either, just like kids, you either learn from your mistakes or you don't, and then you do it again. And luckily,
it hurts more the second time.
Yeah, luckily I learn.
Yeah.
We learn.
We learn eventually. Yeah. We do.
Yeah.
I like where it's talked about in James. So it's James chapter 1, verses 2-4. It says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." And I just love that, how it's outlined here in that refining of faith. I think about when you talk about like iron sharpens iron, and like having those people who can be that iron that sharpens your iron for you. And understanding that like the refining process is rough. Like the piece of iron gets heated to like an obscenely hot temperature, and then you get another.
She's calling me obscenely hot right now.
Oh my word! And then you
Can you see her turning red?
I'm not turning red. I can feel it when I just stop.
God's blessed me in that way. I'm not really like this.
I'm not really like this, but you are. But you get it, the piece of iron gets heated up so hot, and then you take another piece of iron and you beat it and pound it into the shape that you want it into. Nothing about that process is gentle. It's hot and it's painful, but afterwards you have this sword. Are we talking about the sword yet? Or do we just kind of keep vaguely bringing it up?
We're going to keep vaguely bringing it up. Eventually it will be on the wall right here. Hold on, right here.
And we're just
right where I can grab it. It's a broadsword.
Yeah.
Like Braveheart.
We're not going to talk about
I may or may not have war paint on for that one.
Oh my word. No, you don't.
Maybe.
We're not going to talk about it. We're just going to. No, we're just going to put it there. You're not going to talk about it. You're just going to place it there. Just let it be there. But there's nothing
right
gentle or kind that in that refining process. So in here it says, consider it pure joy going through that trial of being heated up in the fire and then reshaped by being banged with another piece of iron.
Yeah, there's a lot of banging going on.
To reshape that piece of iron. Consider that pure joy. What?
Yeah. It's that hindsight again, because you're not. I can't say that you don't ever find the joy through hard times, because once you start realizing when to look for it. What's funny is I'm teaching on this on Sunday, finding the gratitude in the small things. You gotta specifically look for it, and when you are going through a very super difficult season like we did, it's hard to see it in that moment, and it was very difficult for me to see it. There was no joy for me. I was miserable. All I knew was I didn't want my kids to grow up in a split home, and I didn't want to lose my marriage. And I had no intent on even being married until I literally met you. So I was 30 years old, no, 29.
29.
Yeah, and not in the best place. Yeah. But you have to find it in the small things, and you have to intentionally look for it. The biggest thing that I found in every single part of this Christianity walk is intentionality. If there's no intentionality, what are you doing? But then that also transfers into everything else in life too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're not intentional about what you're doing, why are you doing it?
Right. Yeah. And afterwards, for Mike, I think after God washed that mercy over the situation for me, I was able to pick out different places where I could see God's protection. Just like prompting with the phone and giving us a couple of people who could speak into us in the way that we needed people to speak into us. And just like seeing his protection in that season as a whole. So I think it's important to know, it's important to be aware of how we can respond when we're in the fire and how we should respond in the fire. Because what could have happened is I could have completely disregarded my active role in how the hole in our fence was created. And I could have fully blamed you and you, because it would have been easy and the world would have told me to blame you fully and that I played no part in how we got to where we were. And it could have been all your fault and you could have been the bad guy. And I could have just totally disregarded my active part in how we got there. And
which is good because that's where my head was at.
Right.
I was the bad guy.
Yes.
I did screw up. I did do all those things and it wasn't your fault. And then when you said, no, I played a part in this, and I was like, no, no, how? Yeah.
But being aware and responding after connecting with God, I think was the important thing. So I could have responded in a way that would have been detrimental, that I could have responded in a way that we wouldn't even be here right now. And our story would be so different than instead of us coming alongside other couples who struggle in various ways in their marriages, instead of us glorifying and showing everybody how God showed up even in the midst of the fire is the way that you should respond, because God is there. He's just waiting for you to actively invite him into he's in the fire with you. He just wants you to turn around and say like, hey, thank you for being here. Help. SOS. We need you. So I think being aware of how we respond to our situation when we're in the fire.
It's not only in the fire. I mean, like, again, it's in multiple spots in the Bible, and you take a look at my very favorite photo of Jesus looking down and Peter looking up through the water after he took his eyes off Jesus, the only other person to walk on water, because Jesus is the one that called him. Yep. And when his focus was solely on him, he was fine. And then he took his eyes off, and again, in the fire, you're looking at the fire, and you're like, what's going on? Peter's like, oh my gosh, I'm drowning, blah, blah, blah. And then he looks up, and Jesus is like, bruh, I've been right here the whole time, just waiting on you, bro. But faith that's never tested is faith that's never proven. So
yeah,
there's that.
Feels pretty shallow.
Yep.
And remember that when you're in the fire, that fire is refining, not destroying. And being aware, fire in seasons like this are refining, not destroying.
Yeah, for real, fire's destroying though.
Oh my word.
Don't mix that up.
Okay. And I would encourage,
in case there's children listening,
I hope there's no children listening, because there's been some borderline inappropriate things being said by you.
There's a toggle for explicit on this. So
oh my word.
I might have to toggle the explicit. I don't know.
I would encourage anybody listening, disengaging. I would encourage anybody listening to ask, what does faith look like for you when things don't go your way? And can you trust God when you can't see the outcome? So when you're in your marriage and stuff hits the fan and you can't see the outcome of where this stuff is going to land, can you still trust God? And then if things don't go your way, how do you react to that?
Do you read my middle school notes?
No, I'm reading my notes right
Oh.
here.
There's a lot of that.
I mean, I did read over your message, but I'm reading my notes right here. Yeah.
Man. So what are some practical things that we can do
When we're in the fire,
when we're in the fire?
it's hard because when you're in the fire, it's hard to
Yeah.
think rationally. But first and foremost, I think when we talked about actively inviting God into the fire with you, He's there with us. He tells us, standing firm on that promise that we are not. I think that's like something that can be commonly misconstrued as I'm going to get saved and I'm going to invite Jesus into my heart and everything's going to be fine and dandy and it's all going to be good. When really that's not even like, even God himself says, like, you will, Jesus, it's in red letters. Jesus says, you will not have a life without trial and tribulation. Hold fast. I will be with you in that trial, in those trials and tribulations.
Yep.
So standing firm on that, and that would be the first thing, is inviting God into that fire with you. Like, okay, God, I know you're here. Thank you. Help me. I need you. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think or my next step to take. I need you. So that would probably be my first thing that I would.
It's that full surrender too. It's not the sitting in the passenger seat like you're teaching your kid how to drive and you got one hand on the steering wheel and you're like, no, I got this. No, actually turn this way. No, it's taking your hands off and saying, all right, I actually need your help. I'm not going to try to guide you because that just never goes well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the only reason I brought this up is because we said it already.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is not isolating yourself
Yeah.
and staying in community and having those trusted friends and having God-centered people to be able to speak into your life and into your marriage and even to be able to watch your kids while you go to therapy, talk about your problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think one thing that like I'm feeling prompted to say too is like we have some friends who are going to be listening to this podcast who don't necessarily know who Jesus is. And I can say with 100% certainty that if we didn't have Jesus in that season, I don't think that we would be here.
No.
I really very much think that that would have been a game changer where it would have been, you're the bad guy. I did nothing wrong.
Yep.
I'm done here. So I think really just like pushing that point that like we needed Jesus to get through that. And God didn't leave us. He didn't forsake us. He was there. He was tangibly there with us. Like I would tell my friends when Mike and I would sit down, especially in the very beginning throes of that season, I could tangibly feel God's presence with us. And for those of our friends and other people that we might not know that are listening that might not know Jesus, who are in the fire, I would just encourage you to just try Jesus. I know.
Or reach out to somebody who knows
Jesus. Yeah.
Because that will help.
Yes. And I know that like there's a lot of church hurt and people hurt people and hurt people. But the same people that might have hurt you in the church also were the same people that put Jesus on the cross and cried and shouted like, kill him, plotted against him, were those religious leaders. But Jesus loves us. So I would encourage you, try Jesus, sit with him, pray with him, reach out to somebody who knows him, because without Jesus, we would not have gotten through that fire successfully to be able to sit here today and talk about this season and encourage people who are in a season in their marriage, in their relationships, or even just in fire in general, to be able to sit here and encourage them. We wouldn't be here to do that if it wasn't for Jesus. So for our friends and loved ones who are listening that don't know Jesus, I don't think that I can stress how much you do need him. And the sweetness of looking back when we weren't saved and how much God has had his hand on us. Once you see God and see his goodness, you can't unsee it, even in the trials and tribulation and all the garbage that goes on. And just to wrap up, faith that lasts is forged in the fire.
Yeah, and it's not easy. And even talking about this, like you were just saying, I didn't get a chance to say this, but talking about this isn't easy. We didn't talk about it for 2 years, really, with anybody, except those 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, we waited a long time before we started sharing that part of our testimony.
Yeah, it was actually the beginning of this year. We spoke at an XO conference, and I wasn't ready. You were, because you're pretty easygoing when it comes to talking about things. And when I put my identity in
Your success.
no, when I start looking at things in a prideful manner, I don't want to be seen as a schmuck. I'm just gonna put it like that. And talking about this, I look like a total schmuck. And I tried to be who I thought I needed to be until I realized that God was like, bro, you're who I told you that you are. And when you realize that, it's like, okay, the story isn't for me now. It's not for us now. It's for other people. And we did a corporate fast with everybody in the beginning of the year, and I did 5 days of water only.
Yeah.
I was very hungry.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
And but
I did not.
That's what it's about though. I needed it. And we were going to be on Kevin and Kristen's podcast and actually talk about this same very story. And I wasn't ready. So that's why I did the water only fast. And you know, when you're fasting, you're supposed to pray when it's hard. And let me tell you how hard it was, because I was very hungry. But instead I was praying, and then one day it came through where I just heard God go, you're going to tell your story. It's going to be hard. And if the guys in your group judge you, you're not around the right guys. And I'm like, bruh, okay. All right, that's still, a tough pill to swallow. And I'm like, well, I'm going to hear it from people at work too, because this is going to get posted. It's going to be public, and there's going to be questions. And
There were.
Yeah, there were. 100%. But he gave me a weird comfort about answering them. Like, you got this. Again, this story isn't for you. And if they judge you, you're not around the right people. Like, gotcha. Understood.
And what a testimony it is. Not only has it opened up doors for us to connect with other couples, but a testimony.
A lot of other couples.
A lot of other couples. Even
a lot of other couples that are awesome too.
Yeah.
We found out, like,
Yeah.
we didn't. It's not like we were sheltered. That's a weird way to put it, but sheltered. But we just didn't know some of these other couples, and then once we got to find them, once God brought us together with them, we started having good conversation. And
there's something to when you open up and be vulnerable about some of your most difficult times, that allows people to feel like you're safer to talk to you about their mistakes.
Yeah.
So
it's then just think, be safe. People think I'm scary.
They do, which is always very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just think about like what a testimony it is, because I had said before of like what the world would have said if we would have allowed so many people to like the world to speak into it. What a testimony it is to show the world what God can do when you allow him the room to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like not only being able to come alongside other believers who are in marriages that struggle, but also showing people who don't know who Jesus is, showing them what he can do when you allow him the room to do it is just chef's kiss. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, now we have a different outlook in the marriage, and we talk, and it's just different now. It's better. I don't know. It's more comfortable.
Or more intentional too.
More intentional. Yeah. more honest with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It brought us closer together.
Yeah.
As weird as the world may hear that.
And it's given me a different outlook too, and it's made me more honest with other people also, because like I said, I got that word of, if the people around you are judging you, then you're around the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a lot more honest with other people too, which can be good and bad. Some people don't like the honesty. Sometimes I'm a little abrasive.
Well.
Or rough around the edges. Is that the way you put it in the beginning?
Yes, rough around the edges. Yes. But I would encourage anybody who's listening not only to try Jesus because he's just amazing, but also encourage you to share your faith in the fire moments. Like I said, it opened up so many doors for Mike and I to connect with some really incredible couples that time and time again I heard, we thought we were in this alone. We thought we were just sharing your faith in the fire stories can help God connect you with people that need that community, that specific type of community too.
Yeah.
Because so often it's so easy to look on social media and just see the highlight reels and, oh, their marriage is great. Oh, their marriage this. And that was something that we got too after we shared our stories. Wow, we didn't realize, we thought you guys were so solid. That's because you see social media. I'm not posting on social media about, the disagreement that we had because, I am constantly on Mike about his language.
Yeah, Mike posts a lot of stuff on Facebook. I don't really post that much.
Not so much anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Not really.
Mm-mm. But either way.
But I'm going to toss it out here now.
Yeah.
Is if you have a story and you don't have somebody to talk to, our email address is on the bottom, and we can email back and forth or jump on a call or whatever. So,
yeah, we're super open to.
Yeah.
And if it's
the Commission Life Podcast at gmail.com.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
The Commission Life Podcast at gmail.com.
Okay.
But if it's a situation where you guys need some marital support, we're happy to step in there. If it's a situation where, let's say, one of you is going through a hard time and you're in that situation where you're trying to be Mike and asking a friend for help and you're just having that hard time, and you need to connect with Mike or the wife needs to connect with me. We are here and open to that.
Yeah. And if we don't have the resources, we have plenty of resources.
Yes.
Around us.
Yes.
If we can't provide the resources, then we have people that we can reach out to as well.
Correct. Yes.
Or to connect you with as well.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Faith in the fire. Is there anything else we missed?
Let me look at my notes. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a heavier topic.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here and we want to support you. And Jesus is already there with you. He goes before us and he goes with us.
Yep.
In the fire.
In the fire.
We did it.
Fire.
Don't start singing.
What's that?
Don't start singing.
There's another in the fire.
Are you going to try and get your heart today?
I don't...
Are you going to try and get your heart today?
No, I'm really bad at that. I might be too far away.
We might be too far away. We both got it though.
Too.
That's okay, but you got it.
Yeah.
It only took 4 episodes.
Did I try it at the other?
Yep, you tried it.
Oh,
every episode.
That was tough.
That was tough. Proud of you.
You know what I didn't get in this time?
What?
We'll do it live.
Oh my word.
But
we did it live.
We did it live, and I got the hearts live.
You did. You did get the hearts live.
And maybe next episode this will look a little different. We're not sure yet.
It better.
I'm blinking again, guys. Help me.
Oy vey, child.
Yeah. Subscribe, like.
Oh, yeah. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends.
If you need anything, reach out to us. And if you don't reach out to us, please reach out to another trusted adult.
Find your accountability buddy.
Yeah, accountability buddies. Or, a pastor is a really good person to reach out to also.
They're pretty good people.
Yeah, they seem to know a little bit of something about something.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Again, I'm going to get it. Oh, boom.
Oh, wow.
Roasted.
Boom, roasted. I'm impressed.
Thanks for tuning in to the Commission Life Podcast. Our prayer is that today's conversation helps you see your everyday life as part of God's bigger mission. If this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend and keep living on mission right where you are. Until next time, this is The Commissioned Life.